Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your 2022 Oakland mayoral candidate. Well, it's voting season, and so here we have the midterm elections coming up here in June, and so hopefully all of you have received your voting ballot. And I know it's going to be a long year with not only these elections for next month, but also your local elections, your city mayors, your city council members, county supervisors. These are all the local elections that are coming up for November. And there's also some pretty big propositions coming up in that November 8th ballot that will affect a lot of people. Namely, one of them is the change to allow online gaming to come into California, and that we see as very, very detrimental and very harmful, and especially to the Indian casinos that we've stood up all over California, because it takes away from their ability to do the same thing. And these are large corporations that have no regard for communities, gambling addictions, or anything. All they want is your money. They put a clause in there that says that a small amount will be designated to go towards homelessness in every state. But then if you read the fine print, it actually ends up being no money at all. So it's real important to read a lot of the statements from the potential candidates. In fact, right now, what I noticed in my ballot, right here, for the state of California, there are 26 candidates shooting for Gavin Newsom's spot. And Gavin Newsom is up for re-election, and he is on here. But we have 26 candidates for the gubernatorial or the governor's office here in the state of California. And so how do you select from such a wide field? Well, there should have been a voter pamphlet that went out along with this. And so you should have received that, and a lot of information about those candidates are inside of that. And so please read that. And then we have to do our own due diligence, researching those candidates, because a lot of those candidates are running on ego. They're running on ego, and we've seen problems like this all over for decades. You know, corrupt city council members bringing in corrupt city leaders that have been investigated by the federal government and also the state governments and agencies. But yet, here they are still elected into office. And so it's really important to do your due diligence on each one of the candidates. You know, yes, we want to see what I always go by. I look for some related field to qualify them for the office that they're running for. What have they done to create that background of experience and knowledge? And in most cases, if you go through a lot of the candidates here, it's clear that they're running on ego and not for the benefit of the constituency and the voters here in California. And the same goes for all the different seats that are open here for June. I always take my time. I don't rush through my balloting, and I'll take as long as I need up to the day of election. And if I still have it in my possession on the day of election, I will personally walk it over to the local voting building or site that is close by. And But typically I have finished with all of my due diligence in a timely fashion. In fact, I've already mostly completed this. I have not yet voted for California's governor's office. In the last go-around, I didn't vote for Gavin Newsom. I wanted him recalled, but then he bribed enough people, finding all of this unexpected money somehow as a big windfall for California, and spending it very wildly on things here, and not always, to the best interests of all the communities and people of color. So again, we have some conflicts with some of the things that Governor Gavin Newsom is doing, but I also applaud him for moving forward with the CARES Court Act. I support that piece of legislation, and it's going to make a difference at helping to get those that are having mental challenges, and the cities and counties are having great difficulty with moving these individuals, because on this side, I truly believe the ACLU is on the wrong side of the fence, and they are what they're doing is essentially maintaining the harm that is being thrust upon the homeless and the unhoused. So my support goes with Governor Gavin Newsom and also the CARES Court Act. We already have a conservatorship type court in place already, and it works very well. It's very impartial, and that's what the CARES Court Act would be. It would be simply an extension of that. We don't have to go back and reinvent a conservatorship court. And these are in place in every county right now. And what those conservatorships do, if you've seen one of the most publicized conservatorships in the world, it was Britney Spears. And so for a time, she was under the care and conservatorship of her father. The same would apply to any homeless individual that was found not mentally capable by the impartial judge of making their own life decisions. But here's the good thing. If in the future, even a year later, that person who is under conservatorship can apply for to have that conservatorship reversed, just like Britney Spears did. Now, she petitioned the court for a hearing to have the conservatorship removed. And so that's what's also available to each individual. And simply what we need to do is address those that have very severe mental issues. I have met with a lot of the people that I find that are not all there, we'll say. In fact, one of my examples that I work diligently keeping at bay and also trying to get behind bars is a character who believes he's a modern-day pirate. Yes, a modern-day pirate. He even looks the part. He has a great big goatee, kind of like Jack Sparrow. He talks like Jack Sparrow, and he talks about what he takes from the street is simply plunder. And one of the most frustrating things that I've been working on, and also with all the different law enforcement agencies right here in Oakland, is trying to get him behind bars, because he's one of the individuals that is going around stealing cars. He drives them right through here. And how he's been able to stay out of jail on this one is simply a small loophole in the law. And it's a real screwed up one. The cars that he steals, he makes a key, because what he does, once he steals the vehicle, he changes the ignition lock, and so he has a key on it. So he's not stupid. He's actually very smart at doing that, because the law here in Alameda County is, if you're caught in possession of a stolen car and you have the key to the ignition and it works, or the wireless key fob, you cannot be charged with auto theft. You cannot be charged with auto theft, even though the police know this character steals these cars. It is that loophole that keeps that pirate on the streets, causing what he calls mayhem in the community. And by having a CARES court and forcing him into there, by apprehending him for his deeds, we can force him and compel him into that CARES Act, and then have him into assisted living where he's supervised and not causing that mayhem to the community. So these are some of my points, but again, a lot of the start comes with who we put in office. So folks, please take this very seriously. And just like the mayor's office coming up on November 8th election, it's an important decision. We have 3 members of City Council that have caused a lot of harm and increased homelessness by 24% since 2019. And so, do you really want that in the mayor's office? One of those council people that have increased the crime, increased the homelessness, and increased the people that are leaving because there's no opportunity left here. They don't have vision. They don't have foresight. So it's important, folks. Take the time, do your research, and due diligence. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.